Elrond is one of my favorite Elven characters, and with Galadriel he sits upon the White Council as one of the guardians of Middle-earth and carries the air ring of the elves, the Vilya. Here is a closer examination of his character. The first and most dominant function in him is the internal intuition. This is the gift of foresight that Elrond is known for, like Galadriel. During the Council of Elrond in the Fellowship of the Ring, Elrond provides keen insight into the mission of the Fellowship to get rid of the ring once and for all. He is connected deeply to the flow of Arda with his insightful quote here. "Such is of the course of deeds that move the wheels of the world. Small hands do them because they must, while the eyes of the great are elsewhere." Elrond has no problem using his sharp insight to see what the future can hold, but he keeps quiet to not steer the direction of the party, knowing they have no choice and the ring is tied to their fates. Elrond also sees into the future of his daughter's death. To save her from a short, mortal life, he tells her this: "If Aragorn survives this war, you will still be parted. If Sauron is defeated and Aragorn made king, and all that you hope for comes true, you will still have to taste the bitterness of mortality. Whether by the sword or the slow decay of time, Aragorn will die, and there will be no comfort for you, no comfort to ease the pain of his passing. He will come to death an image of the splendor of the kings of men, in glory undimmed before the breaking of the world. But you, my daughter, you will linger on in darkness and in doubt as nightfall in winter that comes without a star. Here you will dwell, bound to your grief under the fading trees, until all the world is changed and the long years of your life are utterly spent." Clearly he is known for inner wisdom within Middle-earth, and Gandalf even sends the hobbits and dwarves to Rivendell for counsel in the book The Hobbit on Bilbo's first adventure. The next function is the external thinking, the function that relies on accepting everything that can be logically analyzed and bringing evidence forth based on theories processed. This is where you see the mastermind come forward and Elrond speak through this function much of the time, warning the others and cautioning them based on his remembrance of the past he was alive to see. It is perilous to study too deeply the arts of the enemy, for good or for ill, but such falls and betrayals have happened before, he says. We also hear him say this in the famous response to Gandalf, when Gandalf talks about having the ring staying in Rivendell. Gandalf, the ring cannot stay here. This peril belongs to all of Middle-earth. They must decide now how to end it. The time of the elves is over, and my people are leaving these shores. Who will you look to when we've gone? The dwarves? Will they hide in their mountains seeking riches? They care nothing for the trouble of others. Men? Men are weak. It is because of men the ring survives. I was there 3,000 years ago when Isildur took the ring. I was there the day the strength of men failed. I led Isildur into the heart of Mount Doom when the ring was forged, the one place it could be destroyed. It should have ended that day, but evil was allowed to endure. Isildur kept the ring, and the line of kings is broken. There's no strength left in the world of men. They've scattered, divided, leaderless. We can see how his mind works as he gathers information from outside influences and the world around him to provide a logical theory based on past behavior. What makes Elrond cave a bit about trusting the Fellowship is this intuition function, understanding that the Fellowship has a good chance of succeeding as long as they stick to the mission with strong intention, even a Fellowship that consists of hobbits, men, and dwarves. His third function is the internal feeling. Internal feelers can come off as a bit unemotional to some less perceptive types, but they care deeply. They simply enjoy an internal display of emotion inside for themselves. And the process of information from the emotions takes more time to demonstrate than in other more extroverted feelers. Many have a hard time reading them because of this, and Elrond's love for his daughter shows. He overrides the feelings of Aragorn's and Arwen's by saying this to Aragorn. Our time here is ending. Arwen's time is ending. Let her go. Let her take the ship into the west. Let her bear her love for you to the undying lands. There it will be evergreen. Elrond keeps his emotions inside until the time Arwen finally decided to not go on the ship to Valinor, and he asked, "Do I not have your love?" He is doubtful of her feelings as well as his own, because he processes them internally and deeply. He is not in touch with them as quickly as other types may be. His feelings are expressed in times of dire need, though, but normally something for him to only internally enjoy and keep to himself on an everyday basis. This makes him come off a bit stern to others. Even though he still is a loving elven character, he simply demonstrates it in another way. Here Elrond says to Sam when he insists that Frodo should not go alone, "You at least shall go with him. It is hardly possible to separate you from him, even when he is summoned to a secret council, and you are not." The fourth function is the external sensing. This function gives rise to his taking in information from the outside world and putting plans into action or basing theories off of. Here he says this about the observations of noting Frodo the Hobbit. And yet, to have come so far, still bearing the ring, the Hobbit has shown extraordinary resilience to evil. As well as noticing what is going on around the world, making him a good military strategist. Gandalf, the enemy is moving. Sauron's forces are missing in the east. His eye is fixed on Rivendell, and Saruman, you tell me, has betrayed us. Our list of allies grows thin. Elrond takes note of the outside world as much as his inner one. He takes note of Arwen by saying, "Your hands are cold. The life of the elder is leaving you." He also made Imildris the last homely house east of the sea, an inviting and beautiful place of peace and relaxation to all friends of the elves who come for his counsel. He has singers and feasts prepared for them, taking note of their weariness and need for food and comfort. All of these functions together make Elrond a complicated character of both logic and intuitive insight, as well as a mastermind to help all who come to him on Middle-earth.